Namaste students, welcome back to my channel. Students, in our previous video, we have studied about the general introduction of the halogen family, about the atomic properties or the physical properties. Now in this video, we'll start the chemical properties of the halogen family. So without any delay, let's get started. So the first chemical property of the halogen family is oxidation state. Oxidation state. Now we know that the halogen family, that is the 17th group, this group require only one electron to complete its octet. So all the elements have a strong tendency to accept an extra electron and get converted into the octet configuration. So all the elements of this family show a negative oxidation state of -1. If we talk about fluorine, if we talk separately, so fluorine usually in all the compounds of fluorine, the oxidation of fluorine is -1. -1 except in HOF. Except in HOF where the oxidation state of fluorine is +1. Where the oxidation state of fluorine is +1. So except HOF, the oxidation state of fluorine is -1 in all the compounds of the fluorine. But if we talk about the other members of this family, that is chlorine, bromine and iodine, so along with the -1 and +1 oxidation state, due to the presence of the vacant d orbitals, these elements also shows higher oxidation state of +3, +5 and +7. Means these elements shows -1 oxidation state as well as +1 oxidation state, but along with the -1 and +1 oxidation state, these elements also shows higher oxidation state of +3, +5 and +7. And if we talk about chlorine, so along with the above oxidation state, chlorine also show +4 oxidation state in ClO2 and +6 oxidation state in ClO3. Similarly, bromine also shows +4 oxidation state in BrO2. So all the elements of the halogen family shows a general negative oxidation state, that is -1, a general positive oxidation state, that is +1. Along with the -1 and +1 oxidation state, the higher members of this family, that is chlorine, bromine and iodine, shows higher positive oxidation state, that is +3, +5 and +7. Along with +1, -1, +3, +5, +7, chlorine also shows two more oxidation state, +4 and +6. +4 in ClO2 and +6 in ClO3, and bromine also shows +4 oxidation state in BrO2. So this is all about the oxidation state of the halogen family. Now next we'll talk about the oxidizing part. Because these elements require only one electron to complete their octet, so they act as a strong oxidizing agent. Because they have a strong tendency to accept an extra electron from any other element or any other compound. So they act as a strong oxidizing agent. But we know that the tendency to gain electron decreases on moving down the group. Therefore, the oxidizing power also decreases down the group, as a result of which F2 is the strongest oxidizing agent. Because of this, F2 is the strongest oxidizing agent, while I2 is the weakest oxidizing agent. Clear? We are talking about the oxidizing power. Why they act as an oxidizing agent? Because they have a very strong tendency to accept an extra electron. By accepting that extra electron, they get converted into the octet configuration. So because of this ability, they behave as a good oxidizing agent, and as we move down the group, tendency to accept an extra electron decreases, therefore their oxidizing power also decreases, and because of this reason F2 act as a strong oxidizing agent where I2 act as a weakest oxidizing agent. Now there is a question in your mind, I think, that in our previous video we have studied that the electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is more negative than that of the fluorine. The electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is more negative than that of fluorine because chlorine has a greater tendency to accept an extra electron as compared to the fluorine due to the small size of the fluorine. There is a repulsion. Now, if the electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is more negative than that of the fluorine, then why the oxidizing power of fluorine is greater than that of the chlorine? This is a question, because this oxidizing power is directly related with the tendency to accept an extra electron. Now, out of fluorine and chlorine, the chlorine has negative electron gain enthalpy as compared to fluorine. It means chlorine easily attract an extra electron as compared to the fluorine. It means the oxidizing power of chlorine should be more than that of the fluorine, but the oxidizing power of fluorine is greater than that of the chlorine. Now the reason behind this is the bond dissociation enthalpy and the heat of hydration or hydration enthalpy. So what is our question? Our question is why F2 has more oxidizing power, why F2 has more oxidizing power than Cl2. Though the electron gain enthalpy of Cl2 is more negative than that of the fluorine, but still F2 has a strong oxidizing power as compared to chlorine. So the reason is, first reason is bond dissociation enthalpy. The bond dissociation enthalpy of F2 is smaller than that of Cl2. So we can easily break F2 bond as compared to Cl2. And second, hydration enthalpy or heat of hydration. Now what is hydration enthalpy or heat or hydration? Heat of hydration or hydration enthalpy is the amount of the energy released when a new bond is formed between the ions and the water molecule. The amount of energy released when a new bond is formed between the ions and the water molecule, that is known as hydration enthalpy. Means more amount of energy released means greater the bond is formed between the ions and the water molecule. Greater stability of the bond which is formed between the ions and the water molecule. So in case of F2, we get stronger bond as compared to the Cl2, and the bond dissociation enthalpy of F2 is smaller than that of the Cl2. So because of these two reasons, the oxidizing power of F2 is more than that of the Cl2, though the electron gain enthalpy of Cl2 is less negative than more negative than that of the F2. Clear? Now the oxidizing power of different halogens. The oxidizing power of different halogens can also be illustrated by the reaction of these halogens with the water. Now, if I write the reaction of the fluorine with water, I get F negative plus H positive plus O2, or F2 plus H2O, F negative, H positive plus O3. So whenever fluorine reacts with the water, it gives either O2 or O3. But when I react Cl2 with water, I get HCl plus HOCl, that is hypochlorous acid. And when Br2 reacts with water, then I get HBr plus HOBr, that is hypobromous acid. And the reaction between iodine and the water is non-spontaneous. Water is non-spontaneous. So from this reaction also we get to know that the on moving F2 to I2, the oxidizing power decreases. So first that they have a very strong tendency to accept an extra electron, therefore they have a very strong oxidizing power, and because down the group electron gain enthalpy becomes less and less negative, therefore oxidizing power also decreases, and because of this reason F2 act as the strongest oxidizing agent while I2 act as a weakest oxidizing agent. But if the electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is more negative than that of the fluorine, so why chlorine has less oxidizing power as compared to the fluorine? So this is due to these two reasons, that is the bond dissociation enthalpy of fluorine is lower than that of the chlorine, and the hydration enthalpy of the fluorine is greater than that of the chlorine. And with the help of the water, we can illustrate that yes, on moving down the group, the oxidizing power of the different halogens decreases. So these are the two chemical properties. Now we'll move to our third chemical property, that is the reactivity towards hydrogen. Reactivity towards hydrogen. Now all the halogen reacts with the hydrogen to form hydrogen halides. To form hydrogen halides having formula HX. So reactivity towards hydrogen. So all the halogens reacts with the hydrogen to form hydrogen halide of formula HX. HF, HCl, HBr and HI. Though the reactivity of the halogen with the hydrogen decreases as we move from fluorine to chlorine, therefore fluorine reacts with the hydrogen violently even in the dark. Means even in the dark, the reaction between the hydrogen and the fluorine is violent. But hydrogen reacts with the chlorine in diffuse sunlight. Hydrogen reacts with the bromine in only when heating. When we heat hydrogen and bromine, then only hydrogen reacts with the bromine, and hydrogen reacts with iodine upon heating in the presence of platinum as a catalyst. So with these statements, we get to know that on moving fluorine to iodine, what happened? The reactivity towards the hydrogen decreases, and because of this reason, the reaction between hydrogen and fluorine is violent even in the dark. The reaction between hydrogen and chlorine required sunlight. The reaction between hydrogen and bromine require heating, and the reaction between hydrogen and iodine require heating as well as a catalyst, that is platinum. Now, if we talk about the preparation of these different halides, so first I'll talk about the preparation of HF and HCl. So HF and HCl can be prepared by heating the corresponding metal fluorides and metal chlorides with concentrated H2SO4. So by heating the metal fluorides and chlorides with concentrated H2SO4, we get HF and HCl. Industrial as well as the commercial preparation method is same. That by heating the metal fluorides and metal chlorides with the concentrated H2SO4, we get HF and HCl. So if I write the reaction here, the reaction becomes CaF2 plus H2SO4. Here it is concentrated H2SO4. Upon heating, it gives CaSO4 plus HF. Similarly, NaCl plus concentrated H2SO4 on heating gives Na2SO4 plus HCl. But HBr and HI cannot be prepared by this method. Now, what is the reason behind this? If I react, suppose if I take NaBr and if I react NaBr with concentrated H2SO4 on heating, it gives Na2SO4 plus HBr. Now here, this HBr act as strong reducing agent. This HBr reduce this H2SO4. this HBr reduce this H2SO4 into H2O and SO2 and itself get converted into Br2. This reaction we have studied in the properties of sulfuric acid also. So because of this reason, we can't able to prepare HBr with the help of this method. Similarly, HI also act as a strong reducing agent. So it reduces H2SO4 into H2O and SO2 and itself get oxidized into Br2. So the final reaction which we get is NaBr plus H2SO4 on heating gives Na2SO4 plus Br2 plus H2O plus SO. So instead of HBr, I get Br2 or instead of HI, I get I2. Now what is the other method then? Means how we can prepare HBr and HI. So we'll prepare HI and HBr by heating the corresponding iodide and bromide with a non-oxidizing acid like phosphoric acid. So in place of H2SO4, I use any non-oxidizing acid like H3PO4, that is the phosphoric acid. And if I use a non-oxidizing agent, I can prepare HBr and HI. So therefore this NaBr on reacting with H3PO4 upon heating gives Na3PO4 plus HBr. Similarly, NaI plus H3PO4 on heating gives Na3PO4 plus HI. But if there is a question in your question paper that what is the commercial method of the preparation of HBr? What is the commercial method of the preparation of HBr? So commercially we can prepare HBr by the direct reaction between hydrogen and the bromine at 570 Kelvin in the presence of a catalyst. So H2 plus Br2 on heating at 570 Kelvin we get HBr. So this is the commercial method of the preparation of HBr, and similarly we can prepare HI by heating iodine with either H2S or with hydrazine. So these are the commercial method of the preparation of HBr and HI. So HI can be prepared by heating iodine with either H2S. With H2S upon heating it gives HI plus S, and by heating with hydrazine. With hydrazine it gives HI plus N2. So these are the commercial method of the preparation of HBr and HI. This is the general method of the preparation of HBr and HI, and these two are the commercial as well as the normal method of the preparation of HCl and HBr. Now this is all about the preparation of the hydrogen halides. Now we will talk about the properties of the hydrogen halides. So the first property of the hydrogen halide is physical state. Now if we talk about the physical state of different hydrogen halides, HF is a low boiling liquid. While HCl, HBr and HI, these are gases. Now the reason behind this is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So due to intermolecular hydrogen bonding, HF exists as a low boiling liquid, but due to the absence of the intermolecular hydrogen bonding, HCl, HBr and HI are gases at room temperature. Next property we will talk about, that is the melting and boiling point. Now, again, due to the presence of the intermolecular hydrogen bonding, HF has HF has the highest melting point and the highest boiling point among the different hydrogen halides. So, HF has the highest melting and boiling point due to again intermolecular hydrogen bonding, but the HCl, HBr and HI on moving down the group due to the increase in the van der Waals force of attraction, their melting point, boiling point increases. So if we arrange the different hydrogen halides in the increasing order of the melting point and boiling point, so it is HCl, HBr, HI and HF. So the boiling point and the melting point of HF is highest due to intermolecular hydrogen bonding, but on moving down the group, van der Waals force of attraction increases, and due to the increase in the van der Waals force of attraction, their melting point and boiling point also increases. So the sequence become like this. Now, next third property we will talk about, that is the dipole moment. Now we know that the halogens are highly electronegative elements, and the electronegativity of halogen is not similar to that of the hydrogen. So there is an electronegative difference between the hydrogen and the halogen, as a result of which a dipole is generated between the hydrogen and the halogen. Now, as we move down the group, as we move from fluorine to iodine, electronegativity decreases. Due to the decrease in the electronegativity, the charge separation also decreases, as a result of which dipole moment also decreases. So as we move down the group, what happened? Dipole moment decreases due to the decrease in the electronegativity of the halogen. So the order is HF, HCl, HBr and HI, because as we move down the group, electronegativity decreases, as a result of which the charge separation value also decreases, and hence dipole moment also decreases. Next, we will talk about the fourth property, that is the ionic character or ionic percentage. Now, as we move down the group, electronegativity difference between the hydrogen and the halogen decreases, and due to the decrease in the electronegativity of the hydrogen and the halogen, the ionic character of the bond also decreases. So the order is similar to that of the dipole moment, that is HF, HCl, HBr and HI. The order is same. Now next we will talk about bond length. Now as we move down the group, what happens? The size of the hydrogen remains same. Hydrogen is hydrogen, but as we move from fluorine to iodine, the size of the halogen increases, and due to the increase in the size of the halogen, the bond length also increases. So the order becomes HI, HBr, HCl and HF. This is the order of the bond length. Why this is the order? Because as we move from fluorine to iodine, size increases. Due to the increase in the size, bond length also increases. Next, we will talk about bond strength. Now, bond strength is inversely related to bond length. Means greater the bond length, lesser is the strength. Smaller is the bond length, greater is the strength. So the order is reverse of this order. Means HF, HCl, HBr and HI. So the order is like this, because bond strength is inversely related to bond length. Next, seventh is thermal stability. Now, if we talk about thermal stability is directly related to the bond strength. Greater the bond strength, more is the stability of that particular bond, lesser is the bond strength, lesser is the stability of that particular bond. So the order of thermal stability is similar to that of the bond strength. And if thermal stability is directly related to the bond strength, it means thermal stability is inversely related to the bond length, because bond strength is inversely related to the bond length. So the order becomes HF, HCl, HBr and HI, similar to that of the bond strength. Next is acidic nature. Next is acidic nature. Now as we move from HF to HI, what happens? Bond length increases. Due to the increase in the bond length, bond strength decreases. Means it becomes easy for that particular halogen halide to release hydrogen in the form of the hydrogen ion, and that hydrogen halide acts as a strong acid. So if we talk about HF and HI, in HF the bond strength is strong as compared to HI. So HI easily release hydrogen in the form of the hydrogen ion. So the acidic strength becomes HI, HBr, HCl and HF. So HI is the strongest acid among the halogen halide and HF is the weakest. The first reason is the bond dissociation enthalpy of the thermal stability, and the second reason is the hydrogen bonding. Due to hydrogen bonding, it becomes difficult for HF to release hydrogen in the form of the hydrogen ions. And the next property is the reducing character. Because they can give hydrogen, so they act as a reducing agent, and the order of the reducing power is similar to that of the acidic nature. So it is HI, HBr, HCl and HF. So these are the different properties of the hydrogen halides. So in this video, we have studied about the oxidation state, oxidizing power and the reactivity towards hydrogen. I'll see you in my next video with the new chemical properties of the halogen family.